Hello everybody, my name is Li and I'm currently studying MSc Film and Television. And for today's presentation, I'm going to do a self-reflection presentation for this class. This class is from Natalie Long, which is about professional, academic and research development. First of all, I'm going to do an introduction about this unit. In the first week of studying this unit, we were given the teaching scheme, and as I looked at it, I wasn't really sure what I was going to gain from the unit. I thought I felt comfortable with many of the topics that were going to be covered in the forthcoming weeks. But after first week's lecture, I asked myself the first and the main reason was to gain a master, as I really need to have a high degree qualification, as this has become necessary for career progression in academia. As you can see from this slide, I'm going to talk about choosing a leadership style when going to planning your career. The most dangerous leadership myth is that leaders are born, that there is a genetic factor to leadership. That's nonsense. In fact, the opposite is true. Leaders are made rather than born. Planning your career, the first thing you need to do is doing comprehensive analysis for your ability. The first thing you need to do is a really good CV like this. There's several points. It's really good and very important and very crucial for your planning your career, which is writing about your CV. The first thing is accurate and interesting, unconscious, brief, clear, and relevant, and contains some evidence. And you need to make sure what sort of things you need to planning for your career, and what sort of things is important, and which part is you need to improvement. Actually, CV writing is another area that I feel quite comfortable with. I'm trying to attend so many events when I study in the university, no matter it's undergraduate or postgraduate. When I attend those events, I'm trying to not use the business card, because when I use the business card, I'm just trying to give them my business card and without any communication. Those things I want to do is just making more communication with somebody else, and do not use a business card to giving somebody else your details and something about your information. I think it's a quite good way to practice for your communication skills, and a really good way for your future planning about your career. When you got your own plan about your career, you need to go purple door. They will help you to find a really good job and tell you what sort of things you need to do. And for your career plan, the several steps is very important for you to planning your career. The first one is self-awareness, and the second one is opportunity awareness, and the third one is decision making, and the final one is transition skills. When talk about self-awareness, I think you need to talk about skills and interest and personality, and as well as aspirations. These several points is really important for your self-awareness. And for your opportunity awareness, which is very important as well. That is about how to find the ways that you need. And a precision making just for your planning for your career. When you go into planning your career, the third thing is also important for you to planning your career, which is about you create a SWOT analysis, as you can see from here, which is a SWOT analysis about strengths, weakness, and opportunities and threats. These four things can doing a comprehensive analysis for yourself about what is your advantages and what is your disadvantages for yourself. Well, let's talk about style of leadership. There are 6 types of leader that I mentioned previously. These two stand out as being extremes, which is authoritarian leader and transformational leader. Authoritarian leader keeps very strict and close control over followers by tightly enforcing policies. And the transformational leader focus is on relationship with co-workers.
His challenges and inspires followers with a sense of purpose and excitement. Here are some of my own reflections that I suppose the way a leader chooses what, when, and where to articulate forcefully determines what type of leader they turn into.
Alright, let's talk about authentic leader.
An authentic leader is defined by balanced mentality founded on a merge between motivation and ethics, wherein needs and wants are perfectly balanced for both himself and herself, and also for co-workers. The authentic leader is not effective in spite of his ethics and honest relationships with co-workers, but because of them. It fails in the face of the modern, cynical depiction of practicality.
As you can see from this slide, I'm going to talk about the motivation for this part. And let's talk about what is need and what is want. What determines which is which?
Needs determine the minimum standard. Wants determine the quality of the work. Here at the Maslow's hierarchy of needs,
Which just compares autocrat and the paragon for this dealing with the procrastination, as you can see from this slide. Let's talk about ethics of leadership.
when talk about the ethics of leadership, we are always dilemma that what is the true leader and what is the false leader. A leader is best when people barely know he exists. When his work is done, his aim fulfilled, they will say, "We did it ourselves." And also, the function of leadership is to produce more leaders, not more followers.
And let's talk about creativity and creativity process.
So, what is creativity? Creativity is the intellectual ability to make creations, inventions, and discoveries that brings novel relations, entitles, and unexpected solutions into existence. And also, creativity is a gifted ability of humans in thinking, inference, problem solving, and product development.
And also, let's talk about practicality.
Unlike the paragon, the autocrat cuts himself or herself off from potential resources by limiting his team's opportunities for self-expression and independent thought. Conversely, the paragon's loose hold on team members can become an open door for procrastination or otherwise shirking one's duties. In essence, it is harder to be a successful transformational leader. Transformational leadership only works if employees are receptive of the attitude and if the leader has certain qualities. But without said qualities, the ethical considerations of the leader and the team members may not align. In comparison, authoritarian leadership can be enforced by policies and rules, so it is higher guarantee of working. Basically, autocrats do not necessarily need to be leaders as long as the rules are behind them.
Let's talk about time management, as I mentioned in the slide, which is about flow.
The flow is a good idea, but stream of consciousness needs a knowledge foundation. Also, the tactic might not work for a group of people unless it's used after repeated free brainstorming sessions between colleagues, even repeated meetings, which there may not be time for.
And let's go back to career plan as well. How to planning your career, you need to focus on one very important aspect and starting doing a comprehensive analysis and going through some information which is very important about yourself. And after that, you need to make sure what is your values and what is your education, what is your qualification of your education, and what is your skills, which is your advantages and which is your disadvantages. And after you got your skills, you can go into getting your goals for your target about your career plannings.
And finally, to have a successful, enjoyable, and enriching career, the benefits of the autocrat and the paragon should be merged while leaving aside the least desirable drawbacks and risks.
And after that, I have learned from this unit, which is about how to planning your career and how to writing your CV and how to get a really good time management for your project. And that is all things I learned from this unit. And thanks for your attention.